What's going on, guys? It's Zero bringing you another Call of Duty Ghost gameplay commentary. Today we're playing Team Deathmatch on one of the new maps. This is Fog. And I just want to give a real quick shout out to Infinity Ward for this map pack. I really like all four maps in this map pack. So if they would have made this caliber of map for every map in the vanilla Ghost, then I think Ghost would have a much greater reception than it did. I think people would be a lot happier with the game. Because these maps actually feel like Call of Duty maps. You know, you can run around with the submachine gun in 3 of the 4 maps, and, you know, you'd be using a map-appropriate weapon. But all of the maps have close quarters areas, you know, close quarters combat. All of them have medium engagements, and there are even a few long sight lines on every map, but they're not overwhelming. So I really, really want to tip my hat to Infinity Ward for putting this out. You know, these 4 maps here compare favorably to my current 4 favorite maps in Call of Duty Ghosts, which are Strike Zone, Warhawk, Flooded, and Trimmer. Those are my 4 favorite maps in Ghost, at least in Vanilla Ghost. But these maps are just as good as those, so I'm really thrilled about that. I'm really happy with this map pack. And if the other map packs are comparable in quality to this map pack, then the Season Pass was $50 well worth spending. You know, it would have been worth every penny if the maps are as good as these. Now, what I want to talk about today is I've been getting a few comments asking me how I can not react to some of the bullshit that happens in this game, how I cannot let it bother me. And I even had one person, you know, tell me that I was a psychopath because, you know, I didn't show any reaction or emotion to things that happened. And, you know, first of all, that's simply not true. I do react to things that happen, but I try very, very, very hardly not to let my emotions get out of control or let my emotions control me when I play this game. If I play angry, then my play goes to absolute shit. I am not one of those players that can play mad and do well. Now, I've got a couple friends who, the madder they get, the better they play. You know, they enter rage mode, and that sticks them into beast mode. I'm the opposite. If I get mad at this game, or any Call of Duty game, then I can't play. It's like I'm waving the white flag saying, just come kill me, because that's the end result of it. The angrier I get, the worse I play. But I've learned to control that partially through the last couple jobs that I've had. My previous job, before my current one, I did training for a company that did tech support for Expedia.com, Expedia Corporate Travel, Safeco Auto Insurance, and 1-800-Flowers, among other smaller companies. So as part of my training duties, I had to train people on computer systems that they'd never used, on our phone system. And in a few cases, I even had to train people basic computer skills. I mean, we had some older people that were hired that, honestly, you know, had probably worked on a computer or used a computer less than an hour total in their life. I mean, that's what it seemed like. So that taught me a lot of patience, because if somebody doesn't know something, then getting mad at them, getting angry at them, isn't going to make them learn it any faster. You have to be patient. You have to try different methods of teaching them in order for to see what clicks for them, because everybody learns differently. So patience was definitely a virtue in that job. It made my job, and look at that throwing knife. That was actually a really good shot by him. You know, you have to figure out which teaching technique works for a different, for each individual, and then try to apply that to try to apply those techniques to each individual so that they can actually learn what you're trying to teach them. Now, my current job is, let me think how to explain this. I work with people who have developmental disabilities, and my job entails teaching them life skills. I mean, it could be something as complicated as learning how to take pictures from a digital camera and place them on a computer and then print them out, to something as simple as how to behave when you're in public dining out, or even simpler than that, learning how to bathe themselves properly. My organization's stated goal is to get every client who's in our care. We want to get them to be able to live on their own without any kind of supervision or assistance. That's what our goal is. So if I were to get frustrated at the guys that I work with because they're not getting the letter Q and the sound it makes down, or somebody's having a problem remembering which port on the computer to plug their USB cord in, that's not going to help the guys, and it's not going to help me. It's just going to make my job more frustrating and harder, and it's going to make them more frustrated. And and when people are frustrated, they tend not to learn as well as when they're calm and relaxed. So that's where I've learned my patience from. And I mean, it can be a difficult job. I mean, I'm not going to lie and say that there haven't been times when it's really tested my patience. I mean, I work in one of the higher behavioral units in the company. So I've had everything from, I've had punches thrown at me, I've had human feces thrown at me, I've been chased with scissors, Now I know at this point some of you guys are thinking, well, why the hell are you working a job where you get shit thrown at you and you have to outrun people trying to stab you with scissors? Well, the reason is that those aren't the norm. Those are the exceptions. Honestly, it's the most rewarding job I've ever had. I can go home at night feeling good about what I've done for the day. I feel like I've made a positive impact in somebody's life who honestly doesn't have the advantages in life that everybody else takes for granted. Being able to do something as simple as deciding when you want to go outside and smoke a cigarette is something that we have the freedom to do. With a lot of our clients, they can't make those decisions themselves, so we have to make them for them. So it really kind of changes your perspective, makes you realize how lucky you have it. And if me being there makes those guys' day even a little bit better, then I can come home feeling good about what I've done for the day, and that's a pretty rare feeling when you're in the workforce. So I really do love the job. So it's helped me, I think, learn as much as it's helped the guys that I'm teaching. Well, guys, until next time, this is Zero saying, I'll catch you on the flip side.